Hi everyone, and welcome to Valley Crafty Corner. I have a scrapbook process to share with you today, and I'm using the March Studio Calico Kit it's called Neverland, and I have two add-ons, and they're called Tink and Hook. And here I'm just kind of showing you what kind of papers I decided to use. I did a little bit of extra prep work this week. I just kind of had some papers that I wanted to see if I could fit in. So that cloud paper you saw is actually from a kit, I think it was in January or February. It was a past kit. And I wanted to kind of use that in there. I liked it. So I'll just kind of show you a couple things that I'm using. This paper is actually from the DIY, I believe it's the DIY shop from Crate Paper. Let's check it out here. It does not say. I believe it is from the DIY shop. So anyway, I just had these little masks, and they're from Studio Calico that I had showed just when I was showing you all the products that I was going through. And I sprayed it with some dewy mist, and it didn't really show up all that well. So I just put them back down where they were and just sprayed a little bit more just to make them stand out a little better. And here I'm just going to take those pieces off. And then some of the other pieces that I used when I was briefly flipping through, there was the brown dot paper. There was also the cloud paper, which that was from the XOXO collection from American Crafts. There was the Amy Tangerine, that orange kind of pinky stripe paper, and that kind of wood grainish looking paper, that's both from the Amy Tangerine Yes Please collection. And then there's that kind of collage piece that I had taken my notebook punch to, and that is from a Timid Beck. And then I also took this chevron stripe, and I just kind of cut it along the zigzag and to kind of accentuate it a little bit, and that is from the Party Day collection from Crate Paper. And I also used a doily here just because I wanted to girl it up a little bit, because it's both my sister and I in the picture. And this picture is from when we went to Vegas last year in March, so we're already a year past. I just took the 4x6 photo and I cut it down to 4x4 just to make it a little nicer on the page. And that number 2 there is actually from a pink paisley. It was some pieces that we got in a kit quite a while ago, and I've been going through them trying to use them up a little bit, and it just seemed to fit really well with this layout, so I'm going to use them. And I decided I was not going to use these stickers. These are from Basic Gray. I think they're the knee highs and bow ties sticker letters, but I don't use them. I decided to go another way. And that camera there, that's also from one of the Yes Please papers from Amy Tangerine. I just cut it out just to add a little bit of an accent and cover up. There was a little bit of a spot there that I wanted to cover up, and the camera was a good way to kind of hide it. And I started spelling out the second part of my title with those bingo chip letters, and I don't really like how they were on the bottom, so I decided to get rid of those, that thing that said girls, and then go with the bingo chip letters to spell out the word girls. So I just use some of the stickers from the border, and then what I do is, because it's impossible to stick those bingo chip letters back on the sticker sheet, they just end up falling off. So I leave them on the wax paper, and then I'll just lay it on top of the 2 sticker sheets, and then I just throw it back in the package, and then that way they don't kind of lose their stickiness. So here I have this little tag, and it's from the Hey Boy collection from Basic Gray, and it says Cruisin' in Style on it, so I really wanted to use it. Not that we're in a vehicle or anything like that, but just to kind of emulate the travel theme of it. And just kind of fussing with the layers a little bit. And here I was going to stick it down and I changed my mind, so you'll see me pick it up. But what I'm going to do is I want to outline each of the pieces in black ink, but because I had actually put adhesive on the back, I'm just grabbing a piece of wax paper and sticking it down so that I can you know, write on it without it getting stuck to my little paper pad that's on my desk. So here I'm just outlining it, and I just fast forwarded a little bit. I just did all the other little pieces, and I just thought it was kind of mundane to, you know, show you me outlining all the pieces. So here, just to kind of add a little bit of interest, I am doing a double line and then a double zigzag over those two pieces. I just thought it would add a little bit of a different interest than what I normally do. So it looks pretty interesting. I kind of looks like a faux stitch line from your sewing machine. So here I decided I'm gonna finally stick everything down, and now that those Mr. Hughs are dry, you can start to see some of those little masks pop out a little better. And so I'm just kind of fussing with these layers to get them all stuck down. And I'm just going to put all of my papers down here, and you can kind of see that cloud one is not a perfect square, but because it's covered up by that other one, you can't really see it, so that's okay with me. And I'm just tucking that doily underneath. I couldn't remember which layer I had it in between. I had taken a photo of it, but I still couldn't tell. So I just went with my gut and stuck it in between that top layer and the cloud paper. And it looks fine. I don't think that's where I had it originally when I took a picture of it. So, but that's okay. So here I'm just sticking everything down, and I'm going to lay my photo down. I'm just going to fuss with that little wood grain paper a little bit. And you're not going to really see very much of that wood grain paper anyway. And I'm just fussing with this tag. Just because I wanted it to fit in between these two layers, I had to pull them kind of apart from each other. And I have it on wax paper. I know you can't really tell, but I have it on wax paper just because I wasn't sure that's where I wanted it to go. So I just stuck it between the layers just to make sure that's what I wanted. So again, I'm just kind of going over some of the pieces here, and I'm just going to kind of get to the second part of my title. And I debated on using those sketchbook letters, but they just, because I had that black too there, it kind of looked like it was competing a little bit with the design, so I decided to go with just the plain black letters. And I started off with going with capital letter and then the smaller letters, but I'm going to change them all to capitals in a second here. It did look better with all capitals. And I guess the reason why too is because up at the top where it has those bingo chip letters, they're all in capital letters. So when I changed to go to the smaller letters, it kind of looked a little weird because it didn't feel like it went. So here I'm just changing everything over to those capitals. And just kind of seeing how everything's going to fit in. And then I think here I'm looking through my mini market stickers to see, because I'm going to put, my title's going to be Two Girls on the Border. So I was just trying to see which kind of little mini market stickers I wanted to add to spell that part out. So I chose these, I believe they're sherbet. Yes, they are. They're the Sherbert Mini Market stickers. Just because they had pink and a little bit of orange on them, which is the same kind of look as that Amy Tangerine paper, because it's got a little bit of pink and a little bit of orange on it, so I thought that would go really well. So pretty much that's how that's going to look. I just kind of fussed with it a little bit just to make sure that's how I want it to be. And I debated on putting some ribbon down there, but I don't. I end up going with this Color Me Happy washi tape. It's kind of got like a rainbow look up on the top, and it's got like that little number print on the bottom. And I just like that little pop of color that it had to add, and the white didn't distract too much, so I end up using that. I debated on putting this brown in there, but no, I don't end up using it. So anyway, I'm going to end up using that and just kind of fussing with the placement of how these letters are going to go, but I'm going to place them down right away here. And I just even the part of the title to the very top part of that washi tape, and I use that as my guide to keep everything all straight. So here I'm just going to lay down the rest of my title. I'm just fussing with the placement, probably more than I need to, but you know, everybody has their own perfectionist style, like whether, you know, you don't have a problem with it being messy or not. But everybody is particular on how they like their particular pages to go, and I think sometimes we overfuss, and I am so guilty of that. I overfuss on my pages way too much, put too much thought into it, and it's probably really bad that, you know, I put too much thought in it, because sometimes the layouts where I just don't think about it and I just do it and I just let it come naturally, it turns out looking so well. So I quite like sometimes what ends up coming about it. These are those Maggie Holmes clips that we got with our Project Life kit, and I honestly felt like they didn't go with a Project Life kit. I felt like they would have went better with the Scrapbook kit, so that's what I intend to do. I intend to use them on, well, one of them on this particular page. So here I'm just taking that tag and I'm just going to outline the edge of this tag in some black ink, just to emulate what else was happening in that scrapbook page, just to make it all fit the same. And just fussing with it, getting in that little groove in between the layout and that little zigzag piece. And here I'm just kind of looking through some baker's twine. It's off camera a little bit, but I'm just kind of looking at some baker's twine to see which one I want to use. And I end up using, I believe it is the Close to My Heart pinky, I think it's pink. Yeah, it's pink baker's twine is actually what I end up using. And I'm just going to tie a bow on that tab. Sometimes I just do like just the loose little flip of the strings out the top, but I just thought if I added a bow, it would look a little bit more girly. So just adding that those little chipboard, or like the little bingo chip letters now. And I'm just sticking them down. And I pulled out this die cut and it says today on it. And I debate on using it, but I don't actually end up using it all. And you'll see I'll start fussing with it quite a bit about, you know, putting some washi tape behind it and you know, kind of misting it and stuff like that, but I don't end up using it at all. I like the idea of it, and I like how it turned out. It just didn't suit this layout very well, so I left it in this part of the video just because I thought the concept was really cool. So I wanted to kind of show you guys the idea of it, so just so you can kind of you know, see something else that is a possibility for your layouts. I haven't used this particular piece yet on a layout. I'm pretty sure I might, but anyway, I just thought I would show you something else you can do with these little die cut pieces. So shaking up some color shine, and I think this was the Primrose, and I didn't mark it down because I don't end up using it anyway. So I believe it's Primrose or it's Sweet Cherry. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to take it out and I'm going to heat it up, and it's not going to end up being on the layout anyway. And here I'm looking at those Amy Tangerine stamps, and this is that kind of like chevron arrow kind of looking piece. And I am using, I believe that is sherbet ink, because it just went really well with the color, so it's kind of a tone on tone effect, but I don't end up using it, so it's kind of pointless to mention what colors I use, but it does give you an idea of a possibility of color scheme anyway. And you can kind of see here I'm going to fuss with the placement of that, and I'm not sure if people agree with me, but I just don't feel that it went really well with this particular layout. And here I'm just kind of tweaking the size of that so I can see what it looks like. And just again kind of fussing around with it. But here's where I kind of go, no, I don't want to use that. I try a couple times, but no. This is that camera stamp that stamp set I got in a haul a little while ago, and it's from Maya Road. And I debate on using it, but I don't think I do. I'm pretty sure I don't, but I look at it for a really long time, trying to, you know, debate on something to use, but I don't believe I do. I was looking for something that would go over top of that two girls right there, and so you can kind of see I put that away, and I'm shaking up my color shine, and I think this is Georgia Peach. I didn't mark it down, did I? Oh, it's Georgia Peach. I did mark it down. And I really wanted big droplets, but I didn't want to pull out my little eyedropper. So I just kind of stuck it in the bottle and pulled it out quickly, and then let it drop, and it would make these big droplets, but not as big as you would if you had the eyedropper. And here I'm shaking up some gold lame, and I'm using that on this layout too. And I did the kind of the same concept of, you know, making the big splotches of ink splatters. And I did it kind of in a diagonal pattern. And here I'm just drying everything up to make sure it's all dry. And then here I think I'm coming in, and I'm going to, so here I brought in these rub-ons, and I was looking for something to put on this particular layout. So this little word phrase kind of fit really well. So it says wonderful on it, and it's got kind of that sketchy look to it. So I add it up above my little chipboard letters, and I really like how that kind of added a little bit of something to the title. And I'm just using a bone folder just to make sure that it was all kind of pressed down really well. And here I'm just kind of looking around to see what kind of other kind of embellishments that I want to put on this layout. And oh, here I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm going to do journaling, or maybe I'm debating on doing journaling. I did a really bad job of editing this video. Usually I do really well, but I was doing this while I was working on something else, so I kind of was getting sidetracked while I was editing it, so I really apologize. Normally I do a pretty good job of editing, but I have so many videos I have to get done that I'm getting a little bombarded. I think this is my third layout that I have done from the March kit. Like this is the third video that I have done for the March kit, not the third layout that I have done. I have 6 layouts done altogether. And this is the third layout video. So I have 3 more in the can, so to speak, that I have to get done. And I'm trying to rush through and getting them done, and I guess you know what happens when you rush. It doesn't turn out the way it probably should. Anyway, here I'm working on this kind of like top little cluster, and what I did is I took a label and a kind of like little printable piece, and or actually 2 little printable pieces, and the one says snapshots and the other one I think it says remember this. And then I took some washi tape and I added some of those layers on that as well, just to kind of add a little bit of emphasis into that top corner, because there was so much going on in the bottom right. I wanted to add a little bit of balance up into the top left, and my journaling is going to go across kind of in a diagonal line towards that photo, just so it kind of draws your eye down towards that portion of the layout. So here I'm going to go on with my journaling, and again I gotta fast forward so you don't have to watch me you know, hem and haw about what I want to write. And you can kind of see I took that diagonal line and emphasized it quite a bit with my journaling. And here I'm just fussing with that little clip that I really want it to stay there. And I debate on putting it on with this glossy accents, and it was all plugged up, so I don't do it. So you can kind of see I have my heat tool or my glue gun out, so it's heating up so that I can stick that little clip down and make sure it stays stuck. And here I have these little enamel dots, and these ones are from Basic Gray, and I'm just going to add some of these little bluish ones. I'm not sure. I would say they're like almost like an aqua color, and going to add those you know, kind of around the page to draw your eye to certain things. So I used quite a few on this layout, and here I'm just kind of going through, getting my heat gun, you know, heated up, and it's taking a little bit of time. Always, you know, it's like watching a pot of water boil. It always takes really long. And again, it's just taking forever. And here it's probably warm enough, so I just kind of stick it down. My head's in the way, I'm sorry. I'm just making sure it's stuck down. So here I'm coming in for the close-up looks. So you can kind of see how the photo cluster all looks with the doilies and everything. And the enamel dots. And you can kind of see that zigzag on the border. And you can kind of see the little misting with all those little pieces being sprayed. And yeah, it says remember this moment. That's what that little label said. So that's what the layout looks like. And stay tuned for the close-ups. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.